Alright, welcome to week 4 of the Joltville series. In this patch, it does not look like we got a level increase, but we should be getting one next patch, which should be coming out in the next 3 weeks. But starting out, we want to go ahead and take a look at our casual tab, with the first being Artificial Island. Now you want to make sure that you click on your present icon because you can only hold these resources for 24 hours. On top of that, if you have an old man icon in this area, you want to make sure that you visit your island. And if you don't, try to visit your friends, your crewmates, or just anyone who has access to their island so that we can get those great resources. And if you want to understand that system even more, feel free to check out this video. But you at least want to visit your island at least one time a week. That way you can click on this triangular icon and you can select Exchange Store. And you want to try to buy these weekly items before the week resets. But also know that the end of the month is today, so we're going to be able to get special vouchers again tomorrow. And also go around and make sure you kill your enemies, at least your bosses, so that way you can get those resources. And if you are capturing pets, you want to make sure that you feed them once every day. Next, we got fishing. Ideally, you want to try to get your fishing level to 9. That way you can buy your weekly standard matrice. And if you're just starting out with fishing, I recommend you buy 100 to 150 green bait. And then with the rest of the available bait for the week, you can buy purple bait until you have time to level up your fishing. You also want to make sure that you check your appointed research every couple of days because you don't want your energy to cap, because you can only hold 20 energy, so that way you can keep getting your 5 free energy a day. And then we have Ronnie, the resource dealer. You want to make sure that you come to this guy every week, especially if you're a vote main, so that way you can get those mini pelican shards. On top of that, you can get energy and potent omnium crystals, which are also helpful. And next we have racing, to where you can now teleport directly there. If you need some Mira, this could be a good way to get some. As long as you can place in the top 100, you can get a free 400 Mira every month. And lastly, we have the beast capture system. You want to make sure that you're trying to get your 1,000 daily capture points a day. That way you can max this out, so you can sell the pets for extra dominion and maybe one day get them out. But if you want to fully know how the system works, be sure to check out this video. Then we got our daily bounties. And you want to make sure that you always pick Domain 9. And with patch 3.3 coming out soon, you might want to save your keys, because just like Joltville, that will have a new energy system as well. And next you want to do your Mia's Kitchen, which brings us to Vitality, starting with joint operations. So you want to make sure that you do this at least one time a day, so that way you can get your daily first clear reward. On top of that, get in the habit of checking out your instant effects, where this week, Friday, we were able to get Scylla shards. So ideally you want to try to save your Vitality on Thursday, so that way you can get a lot of Scylla shards on Friday. Next we have Interstellar Exploration, and you want to check Vera as well as check Aspera, so that way you can see all of your stargates. And ideally you want to try to go for level 3s or level 2s, and how you can tell what star levels they are, star icons are above the stargates. But if you don't have any level 2s or level 3s, you could always do dimensional trials and simply press go, and you can use up all of your Vitality by simply pressing quick battle. And you can do the same for Matrix Data Packs and gold. Which brings us to our optionals, and that is giving gifts to your 1.0 characters, and the best way to do that is to go to the black market and talk to Hopkins, see this island and do the claw machine. You can also do your 2 trainings for the day, or knock out your 8 fun zones to where you can get Mira and training points. But one thing that is not optional are your security force missions. You want to make sure that you try to do this every week, so that way you can get those old Vera coins in Mira. And if you have not already cleared out the gray space, then you might want to try to knock out your 6 gray space fishers for the day. But the biggest rewards are in the Twilight Zone, but you do have an 8-hour time limit, so you could wait on this. Bringing us to the events. So we have the special gift where you can get Feise rows, and we also have the supply run for the day. So you want to make sure that you're logging in, so that way you can get those free rows. On top of that, we have a Gachapon, which is rerunning. So if you were not able to get the lawn wedding dress outfit and you wanted to get that, you have a little over 2 days to get it. But if you already have this, I don't really recommend that you roll on this. Then of course we have Feise, the new flame character. If you want to know how strong she is, be sure to check out these videos. She of course comes with an order gift, and her reruns are here as well. The way that Feise works, she really wants Leoa, so if you get a few copies of Leoa, she'll go great with Feise. Annabella unfortunately does not work very well with her, so I recommend not rolling on her. And Lon, if you want to do triple flame, is a pretty powerful team, so you could consider getting a copy of her. But with physical being a dual element, you may not want to get too many old flame units. And if you want to try to get Mimi, you have a little over 2 days to get her, which is the same for her reruns. bringing us to the big event to where right now all we can do is Trophy Tycoon, which is basically like Monopoly. It's pretty fun. The only problem is it's a very long game, but once you do complete the game, even if you lose, you do get a lot of points. But if you don't have a lot of time, you might want to try to wait for some of these other games to unlock. And then of course we have the Challenger's Task List and the version delivery. Hopefully you knocked out most of these things. And again, go ahead and take a look at this time, letting us know that it's 23 days, so we have a little over 3 weeks before we're going into patch 3.3. And then we got the weekly tab. You want to make sure that you do enough things down here so that we can get everything up top, but do try to make sure that you're doing all the missions that give you free keys. And you might want to try to save your keys for patch 3.3 since it's going to have a new energy system. But speaking of the weekly tab, I recommend that you do not collect these things up top until Wednesday at 5 o'clock, because our battle pass is resetting next week and you can get some extra rewards even faster if you save that weekly activity. Then we have mentoring. You want to make sure that you're getting 100 points a week for your mentees so that way you can eventually graduate them. So that way you can get some pretty nice rewards. And at least take one mentee with you so that way you can get these co-op missions done. And when it comes to the store, I recommend that you get your Titan compiling module, your data repeaters, and your golden equipment box. So now let's go ahead and talk about Joltville. You want to make sure that you're going around collecting your energy so that way you can eventually level up all of your towers. On top of that, you also want to probably go ahead and take a look at the market, because today is the last day that you can turn in all of your items for the month. So tomorrow we should get a whole new list of items, so hopefully you've been stocking up on a few extra items so that way you can make a lot of Dominion on Sunday. And one other tip is that you do want to go ahead and try to check these stores that are selling materials that you need, because if you do see them for a very cheap price, you might want to go ahead and buy them out. Bringing us to the challenges. So if you're trying to do something like Bygone Phantasm or Frontier Clash, you might want to save your Mia's Kitchen so that way you can power yourself up. But starting with Bygone Phantasm. So you may want to try to take a look at this weapon bonus. If you have a good weapon bonus, then you can try to do this sneak to next level, and if your CS is high enough, you may be able to jump up 11 levels as long as you can beat that floor. But one thing to know about Bygone Phantasm is they reset Boundless Realm. So if you were on a high floor of Boundless Realm, you want to make sure that you try to climb back up there this weekend, because it's going to affect your ranking. Earlier this week, before I got reset, I was number 1, but now I'm only on Balance Realm 20, whereas my competitor is on Balance Realm 50, so he's now beating me. So I need to climb a little bit so that way I can get my number 1 spot back. Then we have Sequential Phantasm. One nice thing is that this will not reset anymore, so once you're able to reach the highest score on your account, you do not have to worry about this anymore, unless you want to try to get better times. Wormhole. You have a little over 3 days to go ahead and complete this so that way you can get those extra rewards. Frontier Clash. You want to go ahead and knock this out so that way you can get that golden gear. Frontier Evolution. Now this resets October 3rd, so you might want to try to get as high as you can so that we can get as many rewards as possible. Origin of War. We're in a new season, so you want to make sure that you eventually go and try to knock this out. And you want to try to make sure that the difficulty doesn't decrease under 600%, so that way you can get all of the top rewards. Void Rift. Now you want to try to save your charges until the month resets, so that way you have some extra energy going into Void Abyss. And speaking of Void Abyss, with the month resetting tomorrow, you want to make sure that you get your team together and clear this so that way you can get those free rewards. This season I ended up being a tank, and this was the tech that I used. Raids. For this week, we have Apophis, and you want to make sure that you go ahead and clear this at least on Heroic if you're not able to knock out Challenging, which only gives a few extra rewards compared to Heroic. And if you have not been able to beat the big raid, Gluttonous Feast, try to get a team of coordinated individuals together and you should be able to knock it out. Break from Destiny. Now the month resets tomorrow, so if you have not done this one time this month, you want to make sure that you do that so that we can get those free 250 Dark Crystals. Arena. Now if you're trying to reach Grand Marshal, you might want to put a couple hours in each day so that way you can reach it. Which brings us to our daily buy. So you want to go to shop and take a look at your monthly pass, and you notice up here mine's ending in 3 days, so I definitely need to refresh this. And for my Dolphins, you probably want to make sure that this weekly deal is active. And then we're on the hot tab, which brings us to Vitality Solutions. Now if you do want to buy these, I recommend that you don't buy no more than 2, because if you buy 2 every day, you're basically giving up 21 rows on the new character. But one thing that you should try to get are your advancement modules and your booster modules for the week. Which brings us to the Commissary, starting with the Crystal Dust Store. So you want to make sure that you buy your Potent Omnium Crystal, your advancement module, your booster module, your augmentation box, and your augmentation factor. And you might as well go ahead and buy your very special gifts so that we can give them to your characters. Space Time Store. You want to make sure that you buy your advancement modules, your booster modules, and your data repeaters for the week. And if you have some extra crystal fragments, you can consider buying IP shards. Peru Store. Now the only thing that I recommend that you spend your points on are relics, and the relics that I recommend are either Omnium Shield or Space Time Rift. Support store. Now, if you have enough points, you want to go ahead and try to buy your gold, your space-time crystal fragments, and your space-time crystal dust. And if you have return support points, then you can buy your space-time crystal fragments. And with your extra points, you can buy gold nucleus or radar detectors, or proof of purchase. Point store. Now, the only thing that you want to spend your points on are spare special gifts, so that way you don't have to do training, black market, or Cetus Island again. But if you need to level up your matrices or weapons, you could always buy matrix data packs or weapon batteries. And for your critical points, I recommend that you save these because this should be getting updated soon. But besides that, you just want to go around and explore the map so that way you can get those extra resources for the upcoming characters. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If so, feel free to give a like so that way this can spread more on YouTube. But other than that, I'll talk with you guys later.